They are very emboldened right now. They think nobody's going to touch them. I think this is going to fly through with flying colors. I think they're going to get everything they want because they have the supermajority.
Welcome to Lock and Load Podcast. My name is Josh.
And I'm Michelle.
And we talk to you about Connecticut 2A issues. Today, our special guest is returning, Matt Strasser. He is now the Vice President of CCDL and still the Legislative Coordinator for this year.
Isn't it 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years. He just means for this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
This year.
Yep.
He's still wearing two hats.
2 hats this session. Yeah.
So Matt, give us you've been on before, but give new viewers a quick little bio about yourself.
Absolutely.
And we'll dive into this.
First of all, thanks for having me back. It's always a pleasure. I live here in Southington, neighbors with Josh. Got into the 2A via a group called CT Open Carry over 10 years ago now. That's a little defunct after our 6667 debacle 2 years ago. I've been married for 5 years. I've got 2 little boys who, if you come down to a CCDL meeting, you can meet. They're running around causing chaos. And
he really was with that tractor. That thing was loud.
Yeah.
I loved it when the kids would all be at the CCDL meetings. It just made
was
it
a little
more
squad.
family-like. It was awesome. It was
Squad
awesome.
last Tuesday.
It definitely warmed me a little bit when I'm sitting up there and I'm looking around and I see the children all playing in the corner and I go, you know, that's why we're all here. We're families. These are who we're looking to protect. This is the next generation. This is why we do what we do.
Exactly.
So it really kind of gave us a little boost, especially when they're bringing down new legislation where you go, man, you know, they're really coming after us.
I can put it mildly.
Yeah.
Segue into that.
Yeah.
We have 5043. I think it's the number, right?
Yes, that's right. House Bill 5043 is the big ticket item this year. Officially introduced the second day, but available on Wednesday. CJ will, the Connecticut General Assembly will issue the next day's bills at the end of the day. And so we'll check that out and you go, oh my God, this is word for word a California style Glock ban.
Yep.
We call it the pistol ban. It's I couldn't tell you how many pistols this is going to affect, how many gun owners, but I don't know anybody that doesn't own a Glock or the next person owns.
Well, the way
firearm.
it's not going to affect the owners right now. It's going to affect them not being able to purchase more.
That's correct. Yes.
At the moment.
Wait for it. But right now, this year, it's just about not being able to access and purchase any more.
Or manufacture them as well. So if any Connecticut-based manufacturers would also be limited from,
which is a jab right at Ruger.
Right.
They're not here. They don't manufacture here.
Are they gone?
They are in Prescott.
But their operations are out of Connecticut.
They manufacture in Prescott, Arizona.
I get that, but like Tong, right? Tong already issued a letter to Ruger about the RXM.
Ruger will turn around and say, you know what? I'm out of here. They will. They're not going to play his game.
You know,
so
2 days after that bill was in my hands, I had to pick up an RXM. I said, hey, you know,
this is not from Lock and Load, apparently.
I didn't know we were going to talk about that.
A lot of
cheating
people
on me.
Oh, no.
A lot of people are. They're running out to grab whatever they can.
So I looked yesterday, actually, just at Lipsy's as a wholesaler for their inventory. There's a lot of RXMs in stock. So maybe we'll start stocking some more.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. And I'm not to fearmonger or, you know, not to say, hey, this bill is going to pass. As always, I'm very hopeful that we can do something to stop this.
It'll pass.
That's the theme in Connecticut.
What was 6667 the last governor bill gun wise? Was there any 7042 wasn't his bill last year? So did he have a bill? And by governor we mean Tong because he's the one doing this.
This is definitely a directive.
Like Ned,
you know,
Ned wouldn't know what a cruciform trigger bar is.
No,
either does Tong, but somebody told him.
Yeah,
well, it's word for word. This comes down nationally. There's key players who say we can't get this passed at the federal level. Here's how we're going to do it. They attack the states where they think they can get it done, or where they can't get it done, but they got to start early and eventually get into.
Georgia's doing it too.
Serious Georgia.
Yeah, we just heard about Georgia yesterday.
I think it was Illinois that I saw as well. That they're gonna run the bill that we saw, the accountability bill last year. They're gonna run that style bill in Illinois now.
Well, they all do. All the Democratic AG/governors, whoever's the mouthpiece for that state, they're all. They're all talking and working together.
We mentioned this in a previous video, or maybe a video after this. I don't know when it'll go up. In a video at some point, that Tong is the president of the little attorney general
He is.
little group they got going on.
That, yeah.
With all, well, it's only 50 of them, right? Or like maybe there's a few extra.
Big thing, though. I mean, in grand scheme.
I mean, I sure wouldn't have wanted him in charge, but you know, apparently they do. So just like, do we think he's just handing out orders to other little shitty states out there? Like, here you go, here you go.
He's definitely in the room. He's definitely in the room when those conversations are being had.
Well, and it's like anything else down in DC area. Okay. Any of our senators and reps are nationals. They're all talking to one another. All the senators, the Republicans are working here. The Democrats are working here, and they're all talking about what's the next one's do. And it's not like, you know, even with the AGs, if you have a strong state, say Missouri, that's solid blue, solid red, okay, they can talk all they want about these kinds of bans and stuff. And what they do is they double down and make laws so that you can't pass this kind of stuff.
New Hampshire does the same thing.
Right. Yeah. But you end up in...
That's interesting considering they go blue every election.
They're out there doing... they're like making sanctuary laws.
Nationally, they do. Locally, like in their state alone, they stay very red. It's weird.
It is weird. So this was on CCDL the other day. Public hearing.
Yeah, absolutely. So in a short session, everything's happening really fast. We know that there are deadlines. They're posted on, again, the CGA's website. This is where a lot of this information can come from.
When do all the hearings have to be done by? When's the end date?
The 16th of March.
Okay.
And by I believe it's the 20th of February, these bills have to be posted and in, right? So after that, you're not proposing a bill. There are ways around that, but for the most part,
to change text. I know Samson the other day was talking about it. He was in a committee. He published it on his Facebook page. I think there were 15 bills, and then there were 4 bill names and numbers, but they had no context in them.
Yes, and
so that's kind of a way
they're in, right? So they have tricks and ways to get done when they need to get done.
They have ways,
and the longer that sheet is empty, the less time the people that are going to oppose it have to act on it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which is just undemocratic at that point, isn't it?
It is, but I will. Okay, you're
playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, I'm gonna. There are a lot of states, believe it or not, that do not allow public testimony. So in some ways, as much as we can say we don't like how this is done, Connecticut actually, we have benefits that many other states don't have. Now, the benefit doesn't really weigh out when they don't listen to us.
Correct. Because
we can pack a room.
All
it doesn't
3
matter.
of us were in there for 7042.
Yep.
And the associated bills that were also being heard that day. And with the exception of the chairs and ranking members, all the other little peons, they come in for a half an hour, they'd leave. They're not listening to you at all.
Even the chairs, they switch off.
Yeah, and I get that they have other committees and stuff, but like you had Blumenthal Jr. come in. We keep bringing him up.
We got to
tell you his nickname from another source.
All right.
I just call him Baby Bloom.
And like he was so I don't remember if it was you were out of the room. That's what it was. You and Matt went to go have not you.
My husband
Matt went to go have a cigarette, and a holster thing came up, and he was so condescending about it.
He's condescending all the time. Like that's just who he is.
How do you vote for him? How do you vote for his father?
Because they know his name and because of his daddy, he gets a lot of perks, and it follows. It's that whole
my daddy's a lawyer thing.
It's a politician thing. I was raised to be a politician, and this is my job, and I got it because look at my daddy.
You know, a fun fact about him is that he works for the law firm that was pushing that 7042 bill.
No way.
It's kind of fun. Josh Koskoff.
Yeah. Oh,
he works for Koskoff?
He does.
There's a surprise.
Check out their...
Isn't that a conflict of interest?
I couldn't tell you, but it's right there on their website is his smiling face. Enjoy that.
It's an ethics problem.
Well, that is why the federal government's looking at Connecticut for lots of those problems. But that's a whole nother topic.
Going back onto the public hearing aspect.
Sure, yeah. So I think that it's very safe to say, based on what we've seen in the past, that we're going to see a hearing in the second week of March. An exact date would be really hard to pinpoint right now, but I think that you can get ready for that. About a week before, we should be able to tell you exactly when that's going to be.
When can we start submitting online testimony?
Written testimony.
Yeah, once the hearing's posted. They're not going to accept testimony for a bill they're not going to hear.
Okay.
So once we know that there's a hearing coming,
They only have to do that a minimum of 5 days beforehand, right?
it depends on the session. I don't, off the top of my head, it might be 3 in the short session.
It's not a lot of time.
I think it's 5, but they normally do it over a weekend.
Right.
That's
So
the
they say
problem.
Friday,
Yeah.
and then
They do like Friday at 11:59,
Right,
Saturday,
like
Sunday,
that,
Monday,
yeah.
Tuesday, bam.
So and then you got to get it in. We know it's coming. We have the text. I'm sitting next to it. I've got members of CCDL who are sending me their testimonies now saying, hey, what do you think about this? We're fired up. When you get onto our social medias, I think our most shared post maybe ever, and that includes the fact that we're suing the state of Connecticut to get the ARs back, is this post. People were reached, like, when you go for the ARs, you got groups that go, well, I don't have an AR. Who doesn't own a Glock-Style pistol?
I don't.
This is Shadow Systems. This is,
I think what's going to help.
I don't know. I don't own any of them.
Does Matt maybe?
Oh
No.
my God.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's 6 knobs.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry.
No, my husband likes Smith, but but that doesn't mean I won't fight for it.
Of course.
I did the same thing with bump stocks. I don't like bump stocks. I have no reason, no use for them. However, I don't think anybody should tell anybody they shouldn't have them.
Correct.
I think we should start, instead of banning across the board and banning things from everybody, I think maybe we should make the people using them improperly pay the price.
That's radical.
I think one thing that's going to help. I think one thing that's going to help is actually what we're doing right now, right? We're sitting, we're having a conversation. This is going to go out on social media. I know Gun Guru Todd has covered it as well.
Yep.
Yep. And so the video I did, which was a quick 10-minute video, reading the bill, kind of interpreting the bill. I know on YouTube, maybe like 2.5K. All right, cool, whatever. I think on Facebook right now it has like 13 or 14,000 views.
That's phenomenal.
Which is
outreach.
Yeah, and that's without my clips. I'm on the TikTok train here, or the YouTube short train, where the clips I think are one of the most important factors out there, because I'm seeing the analytics on my side and the views. Everyone has a short attention span, right? That's why TikTok and Vine back in the day, right, was great, and YouTube shorts are great, and Instagram reels and Facebook reels. So I think that'll help a lot too.
But people need to then not just watch it and walk away. They need to actually then
they need to pay
utilize
attention.
the information they're given in a short,
right.
Here, quick little clip. Make sure you testify for this, this, and this. And then they have to go do it.
Here's one of the problems, though, is gun stores, right? Obviously here, we've really dived into legislative aspect, right?
One of the biggest stores in the state involved,
Yeah, that was the whole point of the podcast, was to inform people, because to this day, I still get, I didn't know I needed to register my other. What do I do now? And I'm like, here's Greg Miller's number. Good luck.
You still get people asking you for why they need to give you a permit for ammunition.
I can't just buy a shotgun? Or
you get people coming in with high cap mags and one training a gun. And we're like, and they're like, well, that's how I bought it. Right. I get that. But you needed to register it. Where's your registration? They don't know.
So, and that was the whole purpose of the podcast, right? To this whole aspect of just trying to inform people of laws. I think one of our first videos was about HB 6667 2.5 years ago, or whatever that was.
Yeah.
This is just for education. We want people to give them another avenue that they enjoy watching, that we can inform people, because I think, and I think Josh thinks too, there is not enough information to gun owners that's readily available.
Yep.
Now, I know how to research it. Josh knows how to research. You know how to research it.
Yeah.
People don't even know about how to go to.
Right.
They don't understand how that all works. And there's not enough workshops. Like Ray Beavis used to do the workshops and show people how to do this. And it got a lot more people involved.
I held one last month, actually.
Awesome.
Yep, it was part of our monthly meeting.
Because those are really, really great. And it does help to inform people. But there's a lot of people that are not CCDL members. There's a lot of people that are just floating around doing their own thing. And in my shop, in his shop, we share it all the time.
The whole thing about, so going back to my comment about gun stores, some of these guys don't pay attention at all, which is astounding to me, to be honest, or they'll downplay everything. I remember a specific store, and I'm not going to mention the name because I don't do that, but they downplayed the whole 6667 thing. And I'm like,
of all bills.
Like,
of all bills to downplay.
And it was the second year that bill got proposed, right? Because they had like the little kind of the year before. I don't remember what that bill
soft
was,
opening.
But it was the
Yeah,
same.
the
It was the
soft
same bill. It was the same.
Yeah,
bill.
well, it was a
we
different
should talk
number.
about that when you finish what you're saying. But
Yeah.
there's a very valid point to that, and what we're seeing right now, actually.
It's why they do it. But it's just, well, go ahead, finish your point first.
It was just, and I say this all the time, and I've said this consistently since going to CCDL meetings, is gun store owners need to get more involved.
Yeah.
You need to tell the clientele that is coming in what is happening, because yeah, I might get people that drive all over the state, right? And I really do, but you have a lot of people, and maybe for whatever reason, they're over maybe in the right side of the state. They're not going to drive over here. I get it. There's no direct highway. It's kind of a pain in the ass. Totally get it. But they go to their 1 or 2 or maybe 3 little stores. And if they don't pay attention, or they're not informed because they just don't do anything about it, or they don't care enough to,
or they give misinformation.
That's worse than not paying attention, to be honest.
No, it is.
It really is worse.
It is. And you see them all the time. There's been a few stores that it's all about the panic driven. Oh my God, look what's coming. Go buy this. You have to buy this because it drives up their sales. And at the end of the day, yes, there is panic, but you can't overplay the panic. And the answer is not to put your customers or just gun owners into a panic. The answer is to get the gun owners to stand together and fight. Granted, I also think a lot of people don't fight anymore. They're tired.
Yes.
We have people that have been doing this. I mean, I've been doing it over 15 years. I am tired. Every single year, I have to go and explain in my testimony how I'm a law-abiding citizen. And again, you're taking another part of my gun rights away. You're taking another tool that I can no longer have. And I have done nothing wrong. My guns are broken, apparently. And it's annoying.
Okay. I was thinking about this, like probably on the way home from CCDL, actually, on Tuesday. And we all go in there and we're nice. We're respectful. And I'm not saying be an asshole, but like, tell them how it is.
I do in my testimony.
I kind of want to say to them, like, you guys don't listen to us anyway. So what's the point of me being here right now and talking for 3 minutes? You're not going to listen to anything I have to say.
They're rotating in the room.
And you're just rotating in and out. Like, so that might come up in my testimony this year, just so everyone's prepared. And don't worry, I'll clip that and throw it up on YouTube for you guys.
I think I had a moment, it was probably last year, where I felt that frustration and I kind of just deviated from what I had prepared. Yeah. And I'm like, I was just frustrated, and I expressed that, and it probably landed like terribly, to be honest with you. It was like, wow, this guy's a nut.
Oh, mine was horrible. Please.
And
yours was great.
You got a little emotional.
But I get pissed. It's my
your voice like cracked.
Yeah. I know. And I'm not a good public speaker. I know that sounds silly, but sitting in front of them with their pompous asses.
Yeah. Well, we've said this. You've said this to people before, right? That was the first time I ever gave public testimony. And sitting in that little chair.
Oh my God.
You got CAGV over here, the little orange shirts that hate you for existing.
Yes.
And you got our guys over here, and then you got the pompous assholes right in front of you, and you're sitting down in this little like pit
on a camera.
Yeah.
Punk,
and you're just like, actually, I think you're looking at yourself too, because aren't they playing it behind you?
It's in front of you.
Yeah, it's in front of you.
It honestly depends on the room.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're set up differently, but usually
it's behind the legislators.
Yeah, there's a screen in there, mostly used now for the Zoom people.
Yeah, yep.
But they do, you are playing back to yourself. Yeah.
No, it's unnerving.
And that's not to like tell you guys not to come. If you guys,
I'll hold your hand.
Yeah.
So I swear I'll go up there with you.
You're gonna hold my hand?
I will. I'll go right up there.
If it's happening on the date that we're thinking it's happening, I will definitely be there.
I'm a 50-50.
We're going. If for not multiple other reasons, we'll do a mobile podcast, guys, and go talk to people. We're just going to come up.
You could run it right there.
Do you feel heard?
I'm prepared. Yep. I got my little wireless mics. I'm going to have a little battery pack. We'll be running. And that at a minimum, assuming it's that date or that week.
Yes.
I think it'll be the second week.
It makes sense.
But if anyone
want to get this one out because they're going to pass it by the beginning of April is my guess. That's because they're going to get this one out.
Yeah, I think they'll wait till the end like they did with 667.
What I'm really hoping to see, and again, call me naive, but I remember in 22 we talked about hopeful is a great way to put it. Thank you.
I like hopeful.
Yes, hopeful, yeah. And I am. I have to be hopeful, or I would just be beating my head against the wall.
That's me.
I live this. This is a lifestyle thing. You guys live this way. The 2A isn't something in your nightstand that you don't want to ever have to use. It's something that you do every day.
We make our money
Right.
in the industry with doing.
So this is something that I'm doing all the time. And I remember in 22 when the first, well,
not 6667, but its sister.
It was 6667's little sister was proposed.
It was a panic buy then.
There was a panic buy,
smart panic buy,
but it didn't pan out. And I'd attribute part of that to it being an election year, right? It's a short session. How are they going to get all this through? Hey, we're going to piss off a lot of people. Let's run this next year when we're safe. Now we're coming up into a similar situation, right? Where we're coming into 26. We've got an election year coming up, and I'm hopeful that with the numbers of people that this is affecting and people that are upset, we're going to get them out there. We're going to get them energized. And if we can do that, we send a message, we turn this into a multi-year fight.
I love that idea. I absolutely do. However,
I agree with Matt before Michelle.
No, and I know you do. We've talked about it. But with the last local election and how many seats they turned,
It was rough.
They are very emboldened right now. They think nobody's going to touch them. I think this is going to fly through with flying colors. I think they're going to get everything they want because they have the supermajority. They can do it. And I think they truly believe everybody will elect them. And I'm actually I don't necessarily disagree with them. I think the people of Connecticut will vote for them.
They probably, I mean, I don't want to say, hey, go vote for this, pass this because you're going to get elected anyway, but again,
it's disgusting.
In a predominantly blue state with as many gun owners as we have, we do reach a lot of people that would be blue, right? Or we'll say, Democrats.
And Glock is the biggest probably the biggest manufacturer of like the average gun owner.
Probably like ever, really.
Yeah.
Right. So in the last probably 5 years running, I think the 365 has took the #1 sales spot, but what's number 2?
Yeah.
Right. Glock is crushing it. They've been making the 17 since I believe 81. Right. So you've got 45 years of people that are buying the same pistol. And then they come out with the Gen 6 and we rush out and buy it again. Right?
Oh yeah. Everybody buys
Hold on, you
Gen.
bought the V before you didn't buy the V?
You skipped the V.
No, the people didn't though. They were buying.
Well, they're only making certain models in Vs, right?
Correct.
So like, they're making the 17.
Too.
Yeah,
but they buy every generation. I've had people come in and buy every gen. Every time the new gen comes out, they buy it, and I'm like, "Don't you have 3 of these?" And they're like, "Yep." Or they trade it in and get the new one.
So I have a regular who collects Glocks. It's all he buys. That and Walter PDP specifically.
That's
all right, whatever. Yeah. But he gets every Glock in a different, like in the colors too, the mold injections, the Cerakotes. But like, who is it? Amshar does like the battlefield green ones.
Yep.
And they're the only ones that have that mold injection. And Lipsy's has a couple colors.
So we're going to get that customer down into Hartford and we're going to say, hey, you're affected, And
this
again,
customer doesn't vote. Him and I have had a conversation about voting because he lives in Southington too.
It happens a lot. It's frustrating.
Yep.
In the last year, CCDL brought on an elections coordinator, long overdue. We're really glad to have her. Silvana. Yeah, or Sil. But Silvana is fantastic. She's all over the state. She is, I don't even know how she gets done what she does in a day because I try to get done stuff in a day.
Yeah, do you look in a mirror, dude? Do you look in a mirror?
Why is that?
Like you got 6-month-old,
yeah,
4-year-old, 3-year-old.
Carson started 4 in April.
Okay, so almost 4-year-old.
Yeah.
Wife, dog.
Yep.
CCDL Vice President, CCDL Legislative Coordinator, full-time job.
I do work more than 40 hours a week.
Okay, extra full-time.
Yeah.
Extra full-time. Well, I don't know if he gets like a lot of overtime, but it's extra full-time.
That's just standard to afford the cost of living in the state of Connecticut. Yeah. That's all. And
don't worry though, Ned's gonna still tax your overtime.
Let's not get into that one. So my wife's a business owner as well.
Yeah.
Earns tipped wages, so we're not going to get that either. Thanks, Ned. Hope you're watching because you're getting me on all sides here right now.
Well, they can't part with any dime, please.
Ned, if you want to come on the podcast, there's an open invite for you,
and I would love to be here for that. Just to say,
you could just
we could sell. We could sell tickets and then donate that to CCDL's legislative fund.
That's
right?
Awesome.
I feel like we'd fill the room actually.
Well, that's sort of like Gilchrist's ammo tax that always comes up. It was basically going to just fund CAGV and all that. It was like, wait a minute, so I'm going to pay to have my gun rights taken away from me? This makes no sense.
So on that topic, that is one of the biggest problems is we as gun owners, and this will segue into Grant versus Lamont.
Okay.
Higgins now.
Yes.
Is we fund these lawsuits with our tax dollars, but we also fund our side with our actual dollars.
We pay both sides.
And we
which
also
is
pay for
insane.
stuff we don't want, like
That's
Tom
right.
going nuts
That's
right now
right.
with all of his lawsuits.
With Trump, yeah, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so
with a $2.3 billion surplus too, the state of Connecticut has the war chest to take this Glock-style pistol manufacturing and future sale ban as far as they want to. So it's
Well, they should focus on the AR one first.
yeah. Well,
because they're starting to pack up on them too. If we start going this route,
that's absolutely right.
But I do hope
Grant v. Higgins.
Okay.
Grant v. Higgins. Yeah, Higgins is the
commissioner
of the
police.
SPP. That's correct. Yeah. So when in 2023, I believe, is when he picked up the new role.
Yeah.
So it changed the title of the lawsuit. So he is.
Well, I'm confused though. So maybe you can explain this to me because it was Grant versus Lamont.
Right.
All the way up until recently.
But Lamont didn't change.
It wasn't too recent. I wish I could better convey exactly how that happened. I might even have it in my notes, to be honest with you. But it has to do with how the court wanted to proceed with the lawsuit. So I don't know if it happened in the second, which maybe is where it did happen. But at some point they said, no, we're going to structure it this way.
It's interesting.
I don't know why.
Because Higgins, Ravello, any of them had no say in the law. It was Lamont that decided. Right. Yeah.
But Higgins is enforcing it. So it's.
Well, yes. Okay.
So
interesting.
I wonder if that's where that comes from.
Okay.
But we are officially waiting, playing that Snope game from last year. We've been officially waiting forever. We are in front of the Supreme Court. We have filed a petition, and we have been scheduled for conference.
Explain that. Yeah.
Absolutely. What does that mean, right? So when you file a petition at the Supreme Court, if you get scheduled for conference, they're going to say, okay, on this date, we're going to look at your case and grant it or deny it. Or they could deny it at any time too.
Right.
The denial can come down the pike whenever.
They can also just kick it back to the lower court. Right.
So
there's three options.
Kick it down the road.
Yeah. Well, what they do is if they're not going to hear it, but they don't want to deny it, they kick it back and say, okay, you have to handle that in the lower courts.
So then in this situation, it would look something along the lines of Second Circuit, please look at this in the light of Bruin or something like that. Right. So we know that it violates Bruin. It violates Heller. It violates McDonald.
On the Bruin aspect, and I was just looking this up because of the Higgins thing. Bruin was the superintendent of the New York State Police. So we call it the Bruin decision, but it was New York State Rifle and Pistol Association.
Yes, that's correct.
That were the good guys in this whole lawsuit.
They won, yeah.
Or we call it the Bruin decision.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that just a slap in the face to
this
this
guy?
guy?
Calling our lawsuit Higgins, right?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
The Higgins decision? Like, no, this is Eddie Grant. If you
This is
see
Eddie Grant all day.
he is the decision.
Yeah, if you haven't met Eddie, he's just like the best guy.
But you know what? It is Eddie's awesome, but it's awful cool to be able to say, no, it was the Higgins case that we won.
That guy's
because
got
it's kind of like,
sulk around. Yeah.
So going back to Second Circuit could hear it based on the Bruin ruling.
Well, yeah, that's an option. But
we don't want that.
No. We want them to accept the case. There's another case. And so the thing with Grant v. Higgins is that it hasn't completed its interlocutory process yet, right? So we're there on
That's a big word.
We're there on a preliminary injunction, which means that we were saying, so the lawsuit was filed pre-6667. And then the others thing came through and we said, whoa, we need relief now. So we filed for an injunction, which could put a stay or a pause on the law while the case is litigated in the courts.
Right.
And Connecticut said, absolutely not. So we said, well, we're going to appeal. Second Circuit said, absolutely not. So we appeal again.
Well, Second Circuit, was it a 2-1?
2-1.
So it's not absolute. It was just...
Well, a no for me, and I want unless I'm getting a yes, we're getting a no. But you're right, we were a lot closer. And now there are cases like last year we were looking at Snope and we were all on our phones every day when they were releasing a conference list.
Yeah, it was Eddie's Facebook page, Walt's Facebook page.
Well, because you have Delaware, Maryland has one, Illinois has one.
Hawaii?
No.
Hawaii's got a separate case. It's they call it the vampire rule, right? I believe it's like it's the opposite of Connecticut, where if the sign's posted, you can't go in the store. The sign has to be posted.
It's New York.
New York is the same thing.
But there's a bunch of, so they're looking at all these cases to see where they're going to join them together.
In Illinois, you see Viramontes v. Cook County, which is completed. If I'm not mistaken, I'm 99% sure on this. It's completed its interlocutory process. So all of the appeals have been exhausted. Their last option is for the Supreme Court to take the case, which is what happened in Snope. And when the Supreme Court said denied, which took 15 reschedules in 7 months, because it was November of 24 when they accepted the case, and early June when they denied it.
Yeah, they kept
it down the road,
down the road.
And in Justice Kavanaugh's dissent, he said this is going to have to be addressed sooner than later. There are people all over the country who are suffering harm or their rights are being violated. So in the following session, we go, hey, this Cook County case or Viramonte's case has completed. It's a great case to take up. It's a good vehicle to describe the harm being done to American citizens. Meanwhile, we've got these 2 Connecticut cases. They're at the same time. It's very possible they take them all and they go, all right, we're going to bundle these together and issue a decision.
Well, and they like the way the wording is of the of Eddie Grant's case. The wording itself, they say, is the best worded lawsuit out of all of them sitting at the door.
We're very fortunate.
Who wrote that? Was that Ackerson?
So Cam is very, very involved in a lot of that, right? We have, of course, Craig Fishbein and Doug Dubitsky, and then the lawyers at SAF are nationally famous, Cooper and Kirk law firm, right? Mm-hmm. I believe they're also the firm in the Viramonte's case. I think it's an SAF case. So
SAF is Second Amendment Foundation for people who have no idea what SAF is.
They're helping us along the way with this thing. You know, we're adjacent. They're a national organization. The CCDL is a state organization.
Why is NSSF not involved
in that case?
Yeah, I'll just say with that case, who's based out of Connecticut.
I will say I did see them when we testified.
7042 and the NRA.
Year. And the NRA showed up.
That was interesting too.
ILA is always there every year. NRA ILA.
I believe her name was Sarah. It was her first year. I have her card in my.
They're there every year.
And I'm getting ready to say, hey, you want to show up for this too? You know, as long as they're not rotating staff. And she's still around. They'll be at the hearing. ILA will definitely be there. NSSF will definitely be there. They do not get involved in the lawsuits, NSSF. So, I mean, we're very hopeful in this Grant versus Lamont case. The 20th of February is the first day that we could see that granted cert. Yeah, it's a grant cert of certiorari or however that, you know, it's all Latin. Certiorari. And that's not me. You know, I try, but
the high school teaches Latin. In case you ever want to take like maybe an adult ed
in his spare time.
Yeah, I've got tons
while
of
he's sleeping.
You know?
Well, Rosetta Stone is in some headphones while he's sleeping. You know,
it's just osmosis absorb.
So if you're on the Supreme Court website, there's a search bar in the corner. You could do docket search. The GVL case, or we shouldn't call it that because it's Higgins now, but that's where I come from. This is the Grant versus Lamont case.
Yeah, right? That's what everyone knows.
And I believe that their docket number is 20. So the year 25-566, and I can remember that because it's almost 556, right? And
that would have been funny.
You just punch that in, and then it'll show you where they're at. And right now, it's just got the distributors for conference one time, and we're going to see it again and again, and hopefully soon we're accepted. And once it's accepted, then they give you a date that it's actually going to be heard. They're going to give us a date that's going to be heard. And it's very likely that...
And then we're going to D.C.
Yeah. No, we're going to D.C.
We're physically going to D.C.
Correct.
There's no way. We could do a bus.
We should get a bus.
But I have a question. So, because I've never done this as far as like watch. I've watched, but not this closely. Sure. Okay. So if they accept it, and obviously you go, yay. Okay. Do they give you time on their date as to when it's going to be heard, or is it sort of like Connecticut with testimony and then you're out of luck, like you get a week?
Probably give you a day.
Yeah, but it's months out.
It is months out. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
Right.
Okay,
so it would probably be listed for next year's docket, right?
Okay, so we even necessarily get in this year.
They start their term in October,
right?
And so we're in the October 2025 term now, which really gets me.
Wrong year.
Yeah, it really gets me. But that's what I said. It's 25-566, and you go, wait a minute, but it's
26.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So
it's like a fiscal year,
except it's not.
Court year.
Yeah. So I mean, I've got to worry about fiscal years. I've got to worry about real years, and now I've got to worry about Supreme Court years. And so they would hear it next year, and then it would likely take months after it was heard to issue
a decision.
Their decision.
Yeah, it always takes a while.
So I mean, not to. I think that we could see something in June of 27. which I know sounds far out, but it brings up a good point. You know, we're always hearing like, well, we need to take this to the Supreme Court now.
You don't.
Okay, well,
it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way, you know.
No.
And I would love to. I would love to take everything right there, right now. But, you know,
well, and there's steps. You can't just go. You have to go through all the bottom steps. Otherwise, the Supreme Court's going to go, see ya, go back down.
And that's kind of what we're happening. So, like this lawsuit was filed in 22. As soon as Bruin went through, it created the groundwork for this new lawsuit because we lost Shute versus Malloy, or it wasn't heard. It wasn't heard. I shouldn't say that we lost it. I apologize.
No, we did not lose it.
No, that would be very bad. It wasn't heard.
We didn't win it.
No. And so when this Bruin decision comes out, it really allows us to start over again and with new standing and a new set of rules. And so that was in 22. We're in 26. Right. And we're still talking about a preliminary injunction. So Bruin was a 10-year shebang, and thank God it was. We need that. But what we do have now is something we didn't have before. Where now that there's this case law, Bruin's out 2022. There's multiple states that are violating it every day.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, you haven't completed this process yet, but we just told you 3 terms ago, what the rules are.
What, in your opinion, just Matt's opinion, percentage of it getting heard?
I don't want to run it on a number scale, right?
Well, that's how percentages work.
I know, which is why
I've heard it's got a good chance.
I really do think it has a good chance of being heard. And the reason
is that like 51% here, guys?
I can't put a number on it just because I don't know.
I feel good about it, you know? It's it's a vibe, Josh. It's a vibe.
It's a vibe.
Here's the way I look at it. Okay, do I want it to go? Do I want it to be heard? Do I want it to do all the steps and then come out with a yay end? Absolutely.
What happens if it comes out with a nay end?
But see, that's if they
nationwide.
If the people if our Supreme Court justices that are on our side don't feel it's strong enough to be heard, I trust that the reason they're doing that is because if they hear something and they get voted out, that screws the whole entire country.
Okay.
So it's a bigger than just we want this when we're getting, struggled here.
They need a better
when they make
case.
A decision, it's a federal decision. So now every single state is locked in.
Yeah, because every blue state will poof.
But the red states will still have to, depending on how the ruling comes down, if they say this is constitutional, then it starts interfering with their world. So at the end of the day, as much as I want it to be heard, and I'm following it very closely, I want to go down and listen and be in the Supreme Court because I haven't gone. I've done the Connecticut Supreme Court, but I've never done the national Supreme Court. SCOTUS. So as much as I want to do that, and for this reason too, because this means a lot, if the Supreme Court says they don't want to hear it, I trust that there's a reason. They're not just going to kick it. They are ready to hear a case. But it's sort of like any other lawsuit in any kind of situation, no matter what. If you're suing Joe Schmo because he kicked you, if it's a bad case, you don't take it to court. So, and there's no way we can settle. Like there is no settlement on this. So I'm hoping and crossing my fingers. Everything I'm hearing nationally from all the bigwigs and the people involved are saying this Connecticut's written the best out of all of them, but they are looking to kind of see, because you have so many of them out there, to see how, whether or not they're going to blend them like we talked about, or whether they're just going to take this one, or whether it's just not good enough yet. And
I can't wait to get Eddie on here after we win.
Oh my God, that'd be great.
We're definitely not getting monetized on that video. We're just not even going to apply for that time.
To what you were saying, there are a lot of people that think that that's part of the reason why the Snow case wasn't accepted, right? And they had some convincing to do along the bench. It's possible that we're there now, but there are, at least 3 justices are saying this has got to stop.
Oh, no, absolutely. But we need 5.
Without a doubt, we need 5. Right.
So having 2 iffies is not.
I think you only need 4 to get the case granted cert.
Yes.
For that to not have that yet, it's got to be for a good reason. It's got to be for a good reason. Because I know we've got the 4. We got the 4 yes votes. We want that 5th.
Okay, but on the flip side there, couldn't the left-leaning judges on there vote yes on this? Vote yes on anything.
Push it.
And push it because it's bad.
Yeah.
Right? And all they need is one right-leaning to be like, oh yeah, this is a good idea, and then
That would be a pretty big risk for them to take.
Could be.
It would be, unless there was some talks going on between justices. But these our Supreme Court justices are, they don't always agree. Even the ones on our side don't always agree. No. You see,
their job is to interpret the Constitution.
Correct.
Their job isn't to put their own will into it. And unfortunately,
well,
I think they do.
The left side does big time.
They do.
I don't know about all the right leaning. I'm sure some of it plays a role, but like Thomas, I don't think he does. I think he strictly is constitutional. Boom, 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 the way it is.
They call that like a textualist, right?
Yes.
Isn't that kind of how Dubitzky is on things?
Yeah, but isn't that like what the text is for?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I wrote it this way. I didn't write it that way. It says this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like looking at a semi-auto or a full auto, and you're talking about an FRT. One shot per pull of the trigger. One full cycle of the trigger fires one round. It's not a machine gun. But you get the people that say, well, the intent of the law was to stop fire rate or something like that. And now, well,
or stop it from happening.
It's not your job to interpret what the intent of the law was. It's your job. What does the law say?
The letter of the law.
Right.
Yeah.
So when they talk about textual justices, that's kind of what they're getting at.
Well, and
that's a good thing.
In general, most laws are written with interpretation written in or left open for interpretation on purpose so that they can go to court. And that's good laws, bad laws. They're written that way, very broad, so that they can be used for multiple things. Because if you tighten it down, there's no wiggle room. So, which to me, okay, a law shouldn't have a lot of wiggle room in it. But then again, maybe on certain things they should. So I'm not a lawyer. I don't even pretend to be one on TV.
The internet, not TV.
No, I was saying TV. I know I'm not here either. Just saying. But I think they make them so broad that it is very hard to have any kind of judge look at things and look at just the writing of it, because they've left it so open. If that makes any sense.
Absolutely. And I would probably have to agree with you on that.
And it sucks.
Because then you can leave it to somebody maybe who's going to enforce the law to use a little bit of discretion.
Correct. Correct.
And then when you get into court, there's more discretion.
Correct. It leaves more for the lawyers to argue out, which may work in some people's benefits, but is it the best option? Because I think we've gotten so broad. I understand some level of broadness in laws, but right now I think we have is going on. We're not just having little valleys. Now we have huge canyons.
How many times do we read this text and we go, well, what does that even mean? And they go, we're going to pass it.
It's legalese. It's okay.
So I want to bring up two more points here before we have to skedaddle. I know Michelle's pushing way past her budget. Senate Bill 73.
Sure. It's a fun one. It's brought up every year, right?
It's a fun one.
It is.
By State Senator Rob Sampson.
By State Senator Rob Sampson, right? So this is more relevant now than it ever has been, because we have these safe storage laws that were originally, if you have kids in the house, right? And then they do what they do best, and a couple of years later they come back and they do it again, and they go, well, if you have a gun at all, it's got to be locked up. And this is a tax credit, right? So I'm just going to read the title of the bill. It's very self-explanatory. An act establishing a non-refundable personal income tax credit for the purchase of a gun safe for up to, I think this draft is $150, up to $150. So you go to do your taxes at the end of the year and you can get some of that money back.
With a receipt. Keep that in mind. You have to have your receipt.
If you itemize. So here we are, being told we have to purchase something, probably more than one of them in some of the cases. We're looking for a little relief. Now we have had relief in the past where right now there shouldn't be sales tax on.
Yep. Any storage devices, no sales tax.
Right. But this is like an additional, hey, here's some help getting compliant with the law. You shouldn't want to create law that intentionally puts well-meaning people behind bars.
Financial burdens.
And especially with financial burdens. So it's something I would love to see. I think that it can happen. We would think that there'd be universal support for something like this. No, there
won't, because Rob's proposing it.
Well, that
PDs give out free safes sometimes,
they do.
And gun locks and stuff, and it has no effect on them. So why not just pass it?
It's a fiscal year. It's a really good time for something like this to go through.
It would be
what
lovely.
committee is that in?
Finance, I believe.
Finance.
It should be.
more specifically, finance, revenue, and bonding is the full committee name. I abbreviate them sometimes, and then when I get to Hartford, they're like, "What are you talking about?" But yeah, it's in the finance committee.
Last question. You are now CCDL's vice president. What does that mean?
All right.
What does that mean? It means he's a vice president.
Yeah. Like, what are your new roles as vice president as compared to like legislative coordinator?
Yeah. What
So
else do you do?
Yeah.
There's a little more work involved, right? Of course. So I put a little more on the plate.
Well, you're not on the executive board, so you're
that's
one of
right.
the main voters.
So
I'm sure your wife is actually. How did this go with the wifey?
Are we going to talk about that on camera?
Mine was super thrilled when I
actually,
decided to run. So
I'm doing a million things. I get the kids out all the time. They come to the meetings. It's only because she's so supportive, right? Like we couldn't do this. I couldn't be here right now if she wasn't at home getting beat up by a 3-year-old.
Yep.
So
no, it takes a good partner to do all that kind of stuff.
She really is the reason why I can do this stuff. Sometimes I propose going to a conference or something like that, and it's like you were at a meeting last week. You want to be in San Diego next week, but she helps make it happen. We go together. Carson he had the time of his life in the hotel pool while I'm at a conference, and I can see him out the window, and I'm looking at these prominent figures in the industry, and every now and then looking over my shoulder, there's my kid splashed. And so it's a family affair.
That's cool though. Yeah. That's nice. What's your wife's name?
Emma,
yeah. You're a good woman.
Oh my God, the best.
Yeah, you have to deal with Matt, so obviously.
Yeah. Well, hey, we made it this far. There's sorry, I feel like we just cut out for a second.
Vice president aspects.
Yes, there's a little more decisions involved in things. I feel like that I want to bring like some new ideas to the table, right? Without changing things though. Like my goal isn't to kind of like, you don't want to come into somewhere and say, hey, this isn't it,
nope.
Because it is. I mean, the organization's 17 years old now. We're still around. Everybody in Hartford knows who they are, right? We had about 10 or 12 House of Representative members wearing our pin on the opening day, which is like pretty kind of cool. We only brought 10 or 12 pins, so if that says something, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, next time we didn't know this was going to be a hit. We didn't know it was going to be a hit, It was just kind of like, hey, here's one for you. Well, I want one, And then Holly, our president, was actually invited down to as a guest of the Senate, as Eric Bertha, the senator. So on the House floor, he says, hey, welcome to the session 2026. I have with me today CCDL Vice President. And everybody has to stand and politely applaud.
CCDL President.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Somewhere else right now.
I just wanted to correct it before it went out wrong.
That's absolutely, absolutely. The president, no doubt. So everybody has to give a little, which was really cool to see everybody in the Senate, all 36.
Did we get somebody
applauding for the CCDL?
Yeah. Did we get somebody to record?
I have a little clip on my phone.
Okay,
yeah,
good.
Just a CT Now footage, but
okay.
Well, it's not one of those things. To be totally honest, most people up there don't hate anyone. They hate the ideals. They hate what they're standing for on both sides. We look at the other side and go, how can you think that way? And they go, oh my God, how can you be this person? How can you be a gun owner? But at the end of the day, person to person, they are usually very polite.
I mean, Winfield
Winfield
talks to Brooke every time.
So, right? No, it's, I mean, I've had Democrats that were my senators and reps, and I have had conversations. I know they fall on deaf ears, but when I see them, hi, how are you? And it's always polite. It's always nice. When I would go up and testify, they would, if they were on the committee, even if they didn't agree with me, all of a sudden they wouldn't be anywhere. And I'd go to testify and they'd be sitting in a chair. They show up just because they knew I was coming. Because when I do my testimony, I also send it to my reps.
Yeah. Very
and that way they know, number one, what I've said or what I want to say. And they also know I'm coming up. Because in the thing I'll say, I am going to be up there doing.
Yeah, I mean, Donna was there for 7042 virtually because she had a knee hip replacement or something.
Yes,
she was,
right. She tuned in on Zoom.
She was on Zoom and she was just.
Well, to your point, they do get along. Remember, I mean, while we see from, our homes and our daily lives, basically two sides of politics, these people are coworkers in the same building every day.
It's like going to work with someone who has a completely different ideal than you.
Right.
You still have to work with them.
And when you listen to the opening speeches and stuff like that, everybody thanks each other for being willing to work with each other. For the most part, unless you get into these fringe topics where people, don't like us, where we kind of live, for the most part, everything is pretty agreeable up there.
That's kind of politics in general, right? Bringing it to like town council. I think, and there's an actual percentage. I'm just going to say 90. It's like 90% of the stuff we vote on is unanimous, or maybe minus one person or something.
You it is 90%.
Well, because it has to do with like the sewer. It has to do with what roads are going to get fixed. It's all that kind of stuff where you're going to agree. Yeah, we need to get this done. You know,
but then it's the outliers, and unfortunately for the three of us in this room and anyone watching, apparently guns, the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, is an outlier.
No way.
You know, I would love to see people, if they were like going after the first, like freedom of speech or religion, but they don't treat it the same, right?
No,
because guns are bad.
Apparently.
Scary. Very scary. Yeah.
I'm going to clip that.
As long as you get the sarcastic tone that goes with it.
Boom, right off.
Oh, thanks. Awesome.
We'll see Patriot wear a holster.
That's awesome.
Should make that into a holster. Anything else?
Yeah, I definitely just want to make sure that we're emphasizing the fact that we've got a total future sales ban on America's most popular handgun coming out, right? I know we talked about it quite a bit, but if that doesn't get you thinking forward, I don't know how I'm going to connect with you, how we're going to get there, because we saw the AR bans and we, we were saying, oh, well, that's these people.
They're not going to touch our guns.
And now we're seeing this, and once they do that, what's the next step? Because this isn't the end of it.
Yeah, it's a snowball, guys,
and
rolling down a mountain.
There's other states that have actually proposed banning guns that accept magazines, like just as a very broad sweep. That's everything but a revolver, everybody.
Once you run out of
that Kel-Tec that came out, that one.
Well, and you might be able to get away with the top loading one at a time. Your single shots.
That sounds absolutely terrible for what it's worth. But, so that leads into, use your imagination, right? We're looking at, oh, well, this gun has 2 barrels. Well, that sounds pretty assaulty. That sounds kind of terrifying, right? It only holds 2 rounds, but hey, it's got 2 barrels. And so
it's an over-under shotgun.
Yeah. Or a side-by-side. But we're living in a state where this assault isn't going to end. And we got to work together and get in this fight. It's like, I like to use the term a lot, mission forward, right? Because there's always things going on in the industry where something's happening over here or over here. But at the end of the day, when there's a bill going on in Hartford, we're there, right? And we're just saying, hey, we're on the same team and we're getting this done. So I think that it's really important to know where to get your information from, make sure it's accurate, right? I follow this podcast. I like the content coming out of it.
Thank you.
Make sure that we're getting involved in organizations like the CCDL.
And not what organization?
I'm not here to throw dirt on anybody else's thing, but do a little research, before you give your money. Who runs this? Click, go to the website, click the board. Who are these people and where do they live?
Why don't you guys,
are they in the state?
Anyone watching that is a customer of mine, come ask me. There we go.
Oh, speaking of customers of Josh, I don't have it today, but I would love to. I have like a printout of the first page of 5042 or 5043. I'm sorry. And say, hey, this is coming. Here's what you can do to help. I want to get that out to a couple FFLs. I would love it if everybody would participate. I learned a lot watching 70 Bill that affects exclusively manufacturers, FFLs, industry people, and who was there. So I think that we need to work on the way that we get to those people, and how to get them to understand the gravity of these situations, because we come in Connecticut. This is a firearms state. We should be a sanctuary state.
We used to be the gun manufacturer of the U.S.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
We're going to, reconnect with these FFLs, the gun clubs.
And the most important thing is the voting booth, guys. We can fight
Which is
bills.
this November.
Correct.
That's
and
right.
we can fight bills all day long. But if we get the right legislators and the right representation up in Hartford, then we don't have to do this every single year.
Just every other, yeah.
But we have to vote, and we have to make sure our voice is heard with the people who represent us. If you don't know who your legislator are, whether you're rep or you're senator in Connecticut, you need to figure it out, because that's very, very important.
Want to talk offline about legislative ranking for that? Remind me.
Absolutely will do. And speaking of legislative ranking, we have a 2020, our elections in Connecticut for House and Senate are every 2 years. They run
November,
They run at the same time. So in 2024, we released a list of candidate ratings. They're still online. We are sending out surveys very shortly for 2026. So if you want to say, hey, is my representative pro 2A or endorsed or anti 2A, where do they stand on the 2A? The CCDL's website's got a great resource for that. If they're a new candidate, they might not be up there yet, but the old information, they're going to get a new survey. Should be mostly accurate. You'd have to take a pretty big dive in your stance but it does happen.
It does, especially with new people
current.
coming in and how they answer versus where they vote.
Right now on the website too, ccdl.us, you have the bills, any concerned bills.
So that was fun. That was cool to learn how to get that going. Thank God we have IT people that know way more than me.
And you'll also be announcing when it's time to do testimony. So if people keep an eye on that, and if you are not a member, become a member so that you can get an email that will tell you so.
It is free. You can also, make
Here's
$25.
So yes, there is an option for free membership. We are at the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is very expensive. I love to try to truthfully sell people on a paid membership. So we have options at $25 a year.
Yeah, I was going to say 20. That's $2 a month, guys.
Or $100. $2 a year. $25 to me, I look at it as anywhere around here, I'm going to get a large pizza, a good pie. It's more than your yearly membership, and that's what you're going to have for dinner one night. And if you believe in the 2A, it would be hard to believe that you're not signed up, free or not. And if you are giving us the money, thank you very much. We're using it to fight for your rights. There are no paid executives in this organization. We're all doing it because we love the 2A. I was going to say for the fun of it, but it's because we love it. It's not always
fun.
So help us, finance that lawsuit. ccdl.us/join. Very easy link to remember. And I hope to see you in Hartford. And let's try to make this a multi-year fight. I know that they're coming at us hard. I think that in an election year, we might have a shot at this.
I hope so.
Matt, thanks for coming on. Hopefully, maybe we'll get John here in a couple more months.
Yeah,
maybe post-session or something.
Do a wrap-up or something.
I think May 6th is the last day of the session. So,
I thought it was the 4th. It's the 6th?
Could be
it's around
either
there,
day.
guys.
Yep. Either way, we're going to blink and it's going to be over.
Yeah.
And we're either going to be buying more Glocks or we're not. So
we can buy them even if this goes through until July.
July 1st.
July 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is a common date. And
apparently, yeah.
July,
October.
July, October, or January depending on what it is. Yeah, it's always those dates, except the assault weapon ban after Sandy Hook, and that was April 15th because they passed it and it went right into effect.
And there was no testimony for that bill as well. That was passed on emergency certification.
There was testimony.
Oh, okay.
But they changed it a lot, and we all packed in the Capitol that day, and literally up stairwells on every floor. We were flooded. There was no standing room, shoulder to shoulder.
Wow.
And they didn't care.
They still jammed it through.
I was at the rally for that, but I didn't get into Hartford for testifying back then.
Yeah. I was there till 4 a.m. Watched it pass through.
Wow.
Anyway.
So my name's Josh.
And I'm Michelle.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.
Lock and Load Podcast is sponsored by Lock and Load Firearms, Connecticut's #1 rated gun store and pistol permit class on Google. Come check us out, 1573 Meriden Waterbury Turnpike in Southington. Lock and Load Firearms.
Lock and Load Podcast is also sponsored by Patriot Wear Holsters, custom-made Kydex holsters locally made in Waterbury, Connecticut. www.patriotwearholster.com and use code LNL Podcast for 10% off your purchase. Orders available for shipping or pickup at various locations.